Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm retiling my floor, and I'm going to put vinyl tile down, and I have to remove all this tarp stuff, but then I also have to see how the floor is a little uneven. I actually have to fill that in. You can see the little divot there with the knot and stuff, and I have to make sure that's all filled in nicely and neatly, and this is on the slide out, the large slide out. And I'm going to fill this in using this patch and leveler, and it should be smooth. You don't have to really sand it, but you do need a nice putty knife to make it smooth. And then I'm going to install some self-stick tile primer. A lot of people don't use this, but in the RV, when it's not temperature controlled all the time, the better the stick, you need a good stick. And since it gets super hot in here and super cold, because it's not always climate controlled, I thought I'd put the primer on, self-adhesive primer, to help the self-stick tiles adhere to the floor better. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then I'll come back. I have my living room to do right here, and then I have to finish pulling up the tile or the vinyl in the kitchen, and I'm going to go ahead and do the stairs as well. And this is the tile I got. It's like it's a marble colored, and so that's what I'm going to put down. So I'll be back in a bit. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but I've pulled a crap load of nails out of here and stapled. It's taken about 2 hours. And I've gone around the edges. That's going to be covered up with a little cover, so I didn't get that too close. But here's my slide out. It's taking a couple hours just to pull the nails out, the staples. So now I've got a little bit of cleanup to do around the edge here, right there. And a little bit of cleanup to do in this corner, right there, but not too much. And then I can start smoothing out a little bit of cleanup right there. Then I can start smoothing it out with the filler. I have to let that sit for 2 or 3 hours, I believe. 2 to 3 hours, yep. Yeah. So I might have to go get more of this. Just depends on how much I have to fill in.
New York is a country.
Alright, so I filled in the holes, the little knot holes and the imperfections in the wood with the filler. And I'll go through and I'll sand that down really lightly to make sure it's nice and flat. And then what I'll do is I'll put the adhesive bonding on. And I'll let that dry. This has to dry for, this has to dry for 2 to 3 hours. I don't think that much because it's so thin, but we'll see. Alright. Well, it's been a long process. I had to wait for everything to dry. I did get the bonding agent on. So what I did is I found the center of the pull out, and instead of starting from the very center, I just got the center of the top, because there's actually a lip that I don't know if you can see. It's a lip that I have to do something with. So I wanted to make everything up front to the very lip. And so I started from the center, so I have equal distance in the back, and I'm going to have equal distance on each side. And then I laid 9 tiles right now, and I'm going to wait overnight to see how they dry, and hopefully they stick without a problem. If I find they don't stick, then I might get some additional bonding glue or the 2-sided bonding tape that's really sticky and good. But we'll see how this tile sticks to this overnight, and see if I'll continue laying it down tomorrow just using the self-adhesive. Alright, so it's the morning, and the tile I put down seemed to stick pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and lay the rest, and I've already laid a couple, about 3 more. At the front edge here, I'm going to get like a little piece of carpet, or I would rather have like rubber that folds over and hides the slide. I'll see what I can find. If not, I'll get some of the indoor-outdoor carpet and staple there that hides the side a little bit, kind of like this one over here that I haven't taken off. As you can see, the carpet right there hides the slide and folds over, and that's what I would like to do to this. It'll look a little different because of the tile, but instead of just a carpet extension. But that's why I would like the rubber. I think the rubber would be easier to clean, and it would look a little bit better than the carpet. But we'll see. I don't think me putting tile there would be very good. If I do, I'll have to add extra adhesive, maybe the adhesive tape or something to make sure it really sticks. But I'll have to see what I think when I'm done. I'll come back when I have a little bit more down. Well, a little update. This is a major pain in the ass to actually cut. I was trying to make it too exact, and I was running into problems. So what I did is I don't care if I'm exact. I left some gaps against the wall, and I'll just go ahead and put trim up like most people would. I did notice that sometimes I change the tile direction, which I don't mind. I know you're not supposed to, but I changed the tile direction because I wanted I wanted 2 cuts and on a tile instead of just one, and I wanted the edge, the factory edge, to be against the other tile, and my cut to be against the wall. So I did have to change the direction, but it is kind of a pain in the ass, but it seems to be sticking okay. I'll get some trim and put down too, and hopefully it works okay. And so now I have that part to do, and there's a lot of wasted tile in the cutting, but I planned for that, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. But anyways, this is my progress so far, and I'll get some trim today and put it up, and it should be good. Well, I'm finally done with the first part. Let's get this out of here. Finally done with the first part. I still have the molding to stick up, of course, and I still have the front piece of rubber to stick on that goes over the slide, but have the cutout thing to put on again. But overall, it actually looks pretty good. If it holds up, it's actually not bad. I'm going to wait to do the rest of the floor because I don't know if this is going to stick. If it doesn't stick, then I have another option. I can get additional adhesive glue, like traditional tile glue, and prep the floor with the tile glue first, and then put the self-stick on the tile glue, and that will hold it down better. I don't know if I'm going to have to do that or not. We'll see. If I do, then this is a lot of work to find that out. But we'll just give it a try and see what happens. Alright, so this is actually coming along pretty nicely. I went and bought some trim, and I sealed the edges with silicone. And I went around with the putty knife and made it all nice and smooth to the wall and to the floor, so that it's only filling in the cracks. Make sure that water doesn't get under the tile. And then I have this little trim right here to put down, and so that's what I'm going to cut right now. And I'll stain it later and stuff, but that's where I am right now, and we'll see where it goes. Alright, well, I am done with the slide. As you can see, I have the trim in. I did a 45-degree angle over here where I was meeting the two, but you can see that the wall is not 45-degree angle, so it didn't really come out like it should have, but it's okay. It's going to be mostly hidden anyway. And then I have the trim all the way around. I had to put that thing back because it covers some wires, but I am going to take the carpet off of it and maybe stain it or paint it gray or something. And then, of course, I have it coming over here. So that's pretty much the floor, and I'll probably eventually paint the trim gray as well, but that's where we are right now. I still have this front piece to do. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with it. We'll have to see in the coming days.